All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. We have a big 8-game slate to talk about tonight. Multiple sports going on. Pretty fun time of year for playing DFS. So I'm excited to be back and kind of talk about some hockey, talk about some baseball later tonight. Nolan, how you doing? How was the
What's
last
up?
10
Welcome
days
back.
or so? Yeah, thanks.
Did you take some strokes off your golf game there, or what?
Oh man, the only way my golf game can go is up. So maybe I did just that one round that we played. But yeah, lots of time around the pool and away from DFS. So it was a little bit weird for a while, but pretty relaxing. And now just back and researching NHL last night and this morning, researching MLB today. And if you guys want to become premium members, you should, because we've got all the tools for basically every sport. So I know ownership projections were just updated for MLB. If you guys want to check those out, we don't have ownership projections for NHL yet. That's something that we've been working on. But we've got all the normal content. We're going to keep riding it out. Nolan or I, or both of us will be providing some content throughout the playoffs and such. So it'll be good. You won't lose NHL. I don't know if we said this before. We probably did.
What did this contest look like for playoffs? I can't remember. It's usually like a couple thousand GPP. First round it starts to get a little bit lower as the playoffs go on.
What's that?
What are how big are the contests for like the first round of the playoffs? I can't remember.
They usually are pretty good for the first couple of games, and then once the slate sizes go down to like 3 and 2, they obviously drop off. And there's also other stuff going on. There's MLB going on. There's NBA playoffs, so people get excited about that, I'm sure.
Can't be any worse than the Sunday slate on DK. My God, that was an abomination.
Yeah, that filled really early. I wish it would have filled before I saw it, because I got hammered really all day in baseball and NHL yesterday. So
just one of those days, I guess, eh?
Yeah, it was just one of those.
Last time you got hammered, you won the 5G GPP the next night, I believe.
Did I?
So let's keep that going.
Yeah, let's do it. I think there's a 10K to first. I haven't registered yet for MLB, and we can just go to the. I think I've got the NHL contest pulled up. There's this 40K Twine NHL tournament, 10K, 4K, 2K, 1K. So kind of standard bad payout structure, but it's not a 150 max. Okay, so maybe I'll play some in there or something like that, but definitely gonna play some NHL. That's really the only contest that looks appealing to me. I don't know, what are you gonna play, Nolan?
Yeah, I've got some in this. I'm doing the old 20 max that I do every night. Max that out, and then I'm gonna throw some of my college basketball winnings into this $10 one, and hope that. Are you frozen?
No, I'm good. Are you frozen? We can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, just froze on me. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
So maybe throw some of these college basketball winnings into some large GPPs, and hope to take some of these 150 maxers down.
Yeah, I like it.
41 maxers.
Dude, I wish college basketball was like that all the time. Those projections were outrageously good.
You have to remember this. I think it got a little bit worse as the tournament went on, because one, people already start to know the names of the players because they've watched the first couple days.
And there's
2,
game log watching.
Much smaller, and much smaller player pool. And then 3, some bad luck. Like Osmo didn't have Edwards or PJ Washington, I think, rated very well, probably because of the slow pace of the Virginia game. And then just PJ Washington's minutes were down, and those guys went ham those 2 games. But still profitable nights on both of them, even if you didn't have those guys in your lineup. So super fun. We still got maybe one more CBB slate left, and we'll be back next year to win all the money.
Right, dude. Yeah, I think I missed the first day, but definitely gonna play that next year. So we got to remember that. I'm sure we'll get pretty pumped up next year around this time. But yeah, it was like I didn't know any of the players. I was just using an optimizer and kind of doing what I have done when I've played NBA, and they crushed on the bigger slates. So that was pretty fun to see. Basically some free money for us just using the tools on the site. And I know a bunch of subscribers, and Homerclee is crushed as well. Like,
yeah, he came close a couple times to taking down that large 5K, but
yeah, dude,
pays for your you could honestly pay for your entire Osmo subscription using those next year.
Yeah, you could.
You can pay another way, just load up a NASCAR too. Double your money every week in NASCAR minimum.
Yeah, dude, that's
guaranteed.
those
I don't know
really
anything about NASCAR, so, and I win every week. But
yeah. All right, so we've got 8 games tonight. Yep, Liquid Demons Calgary is sitting Geo tonight. They're also sitting Brody, Hamonic, Hannafin, Backlund, and Kachuk. So they're rolling out me and Nolan basically for some of their skaters, but they still have. They still have Frolik, I guess, is in there, Monahan, Gaudreau, Lindholm. So the big 3, the top line's there. But after that, it's pretty much an AHL team.
Yeah, you're basically replacing your second line with an AHL team, kind of moving that down, and then like the entirety of your D-core. So interesting. Yeah, interesting way to approach this. I just tweeted in chat. I just shared in chat. Like, I just looked a little bit at the last couple seasons once teams get eliminated from playoff contention, and it's kind of what you would expect. Like, teams who are very good have like a 4-17 mark or something over the last 10 years once they have absolutely nothing to play for in their positioning. So definitely something to consider tonight. Unfortunately, we've already seen that line move on Vegas, so a lot of people are going to have that baked into the Kings. But there are some spots here, I think, where you can target teams that maybe look like they're in really good spots, but maybe like from a narrative perspective just won't be playing all that hard. Because like, why would you put your maximum effort into a game when you have nothing to play for and playoffs are just around the corner, right?
Right. So, I mean, I think all that does for me is maybe if there's a super heavy chalk team, like if Tampa is heavy chalk tonight, and I think they will be chalk. I don't know about heavy chalk. Like, I don't know if they're going to be 25-30% because they're on the road. I don't know. But if they were going to be heavy chalk, if we anticipated that, maybe you just allocate some of that exposure to another team that might have a little bit more to play for, like the Islanders or the Leafs, for that matter, both of those teams, or just a team that's out of it but still playing their guys as well, like Florida. I like. These are human beings, obviously, so you can't really get in their heads. But
I think like teams that have been eliminated a while ago, like that doesn't factor into any kind of like narrative or decision making. But I think maybe just like teams that have been recently, like just in the last couple of days, don't have anything to play for. Vice versa, like the Sabres kind of like went on a tank and sort of, just teams that like playoff teams that
and
that
just
I'm kind of watching tonight.
Just because like I've heard like some gamblers talk about this, or like sports bettors, just because a team is like trying to win doesn't mean that they're gonna win too. So like Colorado fighting for their playoff lives, that doesn't mean they're gonna go out and crush St. Louis because St. Louis doesn't have anything to play for. Like, I don't know if St. Louis can improve their seeding or whatever, but they're still a better team in my opinion. So it's not like scaring me off of playing the Blues at all just because Colorado's going to try really hard. They also take a ton of penalties and do like we've got a 75-80 game sample on them being pretty bad defensively, especially on the road. So for me, it doesn't factor in too much outside of the teams that are going to throw out these AHL lineups or bottom sixes or whatever. Like Calgary is tonight. So we'll see a little bit more of that in the coming days. But for me, like, just play it straight up, pay attention to how Vegas lines move, maybe a little bit more.
But also, like, St. Louis is playing for something still, right? Like, they've clinched, but they could,
can they improve their seeding?
They're in a situation where they could be down in the wild card, right? So I think you'd probably rather play Nashville than I don't know. Like, I don't know if it matters, but there's still, like, there's still some jockeying for position going on, right?
Tampa might be going for the all-time win record, Homer Cleese says.
I don't think that's – what is that, though? I looked at the points. So they can't catch them in points, the Habs in points. So they have 59 wins. And then what is it? Is it the 76, 77 Habs, or is it the 95, 96 Red Wings they're trying to catch?
Oh, I have no idea. You're asking the wrong guy for hockey trivia. Before like 2014, I got nothing.
I think so. They have the Red Wings had 62 wins. Yeah, like so, and Tampa has 59. So here's what my thinking is that like that's just not that can't be a huge motivator for your team going into the playoffs. When you have 4 games, you have to win 3 of 4 games to match a kind of like most wins in a season. Like maybe, maybe teams are getting up for that, but I think playoffs and the Stanley Cup's a far more, making sure you're healthy is a far more important aspect of that. So, yeah, I kind of agree with you there on like Tampa, and maybe like what we'll see is just like a little bit less, a little bit less of a dominating performance than we might otherwise see against Ottawa tonight.
Yeah, it's just really tough to quantify. So I'm just going with the larger sample, or maybe like last 20 or something like that. I don't know. Nothing really changes too much from a projection standpoint outside of the guys that are getting a huge opportunity, like Rasmus Anderson and Sergachev, McDonough, like guys like that are just clearly going to play more minutes.
Calgary won in your lineups tonight?
I will put. Are you asking if I will?
Calgary won?
Yeah, I mean I would. I just have other lines that project better than them. So,
gotcha.
Like I would have no problem playing them if there weren't some other lines like Tampa, Winnipeg, Chicago, St. Louis. So, yeah, I have no problem playing with them. I'm just not really getting to them all that much. All right, you want to start going through game by game here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. 3.5 implied total for the Caps. 3.2 for the Panthers. Phoenix Copley and Roberto Luongo in net here. Do we see any notable changes?
Just that Carl Hagelin's back up on the second line now, so they switched it again last game. They've been kind of alternating these last couple times. Kempny's still out for the Capitals. Looks like everything is the same for the Panthers. So nothing much in terms of changes. Yeah, what do you got with this game? You all over Florida won?
Yeah, Florida won. I really like them. So the Caps as a whole have kind of gone back to what we saw early in the season. Their mid-season acquisitions looked like maybe they had helped, or maybe that's just a kind of convenient starting point for when they started to get a little bit better defensively, but they still committed they had the fourth or fifth most time shorthanded last month, and I don't know that they have a ton to play for either. So if you want to give that tick in another positive tick to Florida one, sure, but I just think they're priced really well. We're going to see probably a hard match against the Backstrom line for Barkov. The Backstrom line's pretty bad defensively. The Barkov line's also pretty bad defensively, but it's going to be high event both ways. So those are kind of the two spots I'm really hammering, and especially the Florida one side. I really, really love them tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. Like I think they've still been like a little bit better recently. But then so if you go back, there was like a little stretch there where they were great. So if you go to that like 10-game sample size, they're kind of middle of the pack. But then you kick it back to the like 6, 7, 5 game sample size, and you're starting to see them regress a lot back to their normal ways. So that was probably an aberration. You're probably looking at the old Caps that we've been used to all season. I think starting to show their defensive holes again, which would mean that Florida one's an excellent play, and even Florida 2 here with our boy Jace Howleyruck, who won testosterone and GPP while you were gone. I think.
Oh really? Yeah.
I think that was a 7-5 Florida game.
That's tough. Like it's always tough to come back after a week off. Like I wasn't paying much attention. I was paying attention to what some of you guys were doing, but I wasn't like researching. So just trying to get back into the flow of things and see which guys have changed. It takes a little bit of time. So I've done a little bit of extra digging around. I'm sure I still missed stuff. So let me know.
It's hard. It's hard when you're like just not intrinsically on top of it, right? Like it's
when you're on it every day. It's just like, oh, okay, there's this change. But so. Always check out Nolan's article, but I was here not paying attention. But yeah, I'm definitely going to read over your article a couple times and make sure I'm not missing anything on FC that might give us a potential edge.
Sounds good. I'm going to update as well after this show and just double check things, because Daily Faceoff, I don't know if you missed Daily Faceoff Gate, but they got suspended from Twitter for some reason. No idea why. And then they just stopped updating as well for a few days. So it was a nightmare, and I didn't realize. Like I kind of start with Daily Faceoff, and then I go back and check all the beats, and then just to like double check and make sure they're not wrong. And it was just a nightmare going through and trying to figure out a new way of doing things, because they're just sort of all over the place right now, which tends to happen at this time of year. This isn't the first time, right?
Right. At this point, I just rely all on beats. Like, it's nice 100%. To have the layout of Daily Faceoff if they're updating, and they'll update some stuff, but they're going to miss stuff too. So kind of end of the season, they seem to check out a little bit, or, maybe they don't have enough guys to keep on top of everything, but I don't know exactly how it works. But rely on the beats. That's the best way to get edges. 30 minutes before the game, morning skate, all that stuff. Carlson I like at 6,300, And I think you can play both Yandel and Ekblad, but probably for me, it's going to be a little bit of Yandel with my 4-1 here.
Yeah, Yandel's good. Solid price. Got no problem with that. Definitely wasn't getting it too much Carlson, but I can certainly see the appeal, especially with Giordano out. It also looks like DK hasn't even listed Giordano as out yet, so there might be some ownership on him.
Yeah, there's going to be an edge.
Oh no, never mind. I just had an old screen that hadn't been refreshed, so he's listed as day-to-day.
People will these next few days will play guys that aren't playing even more so because there's other sports going on. The pros that are maxing 150, they might miss on late scratches because MLB lock is right at the same time, so they're probably running their final crunches. Maybe they don't see some of that stuff. There's still NBA going on, of course. So there's a lot to worry about, and NHL is kind of the last priority for a lot of these guys. So
yeah, absolutely. And if you want to pay up for defensemen, there's just not really a lot of places to go tonight with Hedman out, Bufflin maybe, like that's kind of a tough one coming back from injury, and then you got Riley and Barry in tough matchups. McDonough's pricey. I don't know what that's going to do. We'll have to get your thoughts on that soon. So yeah, if you want to pay up for defensemen, like it's pretty much like Carlson at the top of the list right now.
It is Carlson for me, and a couple other guys, but I'm not going all in on one. There's a group of 3 or maybe 4 that I really, really like. So there's no Brent Burns, there's no Giordano tonight, obviously, but Carlson's a pretty good consolation.
He had a 10-shot game while you were gone, and that was about it.
But he didn't have any points, so he's a terrible player, is what I learned from Slack.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one. Rangers and Devils. We've got a 2.8 implied total for the Rangers, 2.9 for the Devils. Henrik Lundqvist, Mackenzie Blackwood in net here. Boy, this Devils line just keeps getting worse and worse and worse ever since they lost Taylor Hall. So what did I miss since I've been gone here?
Well, they got Hischier back healthy, and I think was Zajac out or Zaka was out, I think. So I think Zaka's back in now. I'm just going to take a look at our screen here. So Zaka's back centering that third line. But now Palmieri is out. Vatanen is out. I think Miles Wood, Bratt is done for the year. So, yeah, this is pretty much your same Devils. You haven't really missed too much. Those top 2 lines aren't terrible, though. Like I could see playing them against the Rangers tonight just because the Rangers have been giving up so many chances. They're pretty much the worst in the entire NHL since the trade deadline. So that's interesting to me. And then the other side of this game, I don't know what. I don't really have any hot takes on the Rangers, but maybe I'll listen to you. The only one thing I noticed is they keep listing Brendan Smith on this third line, but it's actually like Shattenkirk getting ice time up there on the third line. So
Shattenkirk's playing wing?
Yeah, he's playing wing. So they've been dressing 11 forwards and 7D for like a while now, I think. And so I'm just going to look at the last game here. But Shattenkirk got a 8% 5-on-5 share with Shattenkirk and Strome and Howden. Sorry, with Strome and Howden last game.
Oh, right.
So it was Brendan Smith for a bit, but last game it was Shattenkirk, and that's of course in addition to his leading the team in ice time in minutes. So for $4,000, 25 minutes and forward time, if you want to pivot off your Sergachev, that might not be a bad spot to do it. Okay,
so that's something I completely whiffed on. I'm gonna fix his projection somehow. I'll make a note of that because for 4K, if you're playing 25 minutes, I didn't even notice that. So. Interesting. Why is Shattenkirk playing forward all of a sudden?
I guess because he's actually talented, Like, I don't know.
Is he
Brendan Smith played forward in college or something, or like so that's why they opted to have him. But I don't know if that will continue. It's just what I saw.
So I guess Shattenkirk should be at least in play, and it looks like he's got an A value grade from Osmo anyways. So he's obviously in play over there. I like Severson on the Devils side, and then. I like this Devils top line, just a really, really good price, and kind of 3 guys that all look underpriced to me. Agostino has been playing well when he's gotten this top 6 forward time. No Palmieri hurts, but this line's just dirt cheap. They're going to go up against whoever they're going to go up against, and I'm not even sure that they're going to see much of Zibanejad. I think the Zajac line might see more of the Zibanejad line. So you get to go up against the Rangers' depth, which is awful. They just bleed chances. They have been bleeding chances the last 10 games or so as well, which is a sample I like to look at whenever I can. So yeah, I think if there's going to be goals scored here, like there's just a lot of value, especially on the Devils side, and I'm going with that top line. On the other side, I thought I was going to get a ton of Zibanejad, Kreider, and Buchnevich because I really love when they're together, and they're actually not priced too bad either. But I do have a bunch of other lines right around them in price that I have a little bit higher than them. So gonna end up with a little bit of them, but it's gonna be like 4 or 5% rather than I thought when I first saw when I try to predict what the crunch is gonna spit out. I thought they were gonna be like one of my highest owned lines, so they're not. But
all right then, yeah, that's surprising. I guess so what's the price point on these guys? We got Zibanejad 66, Kreider. That's a cheap line for sure. Yeah, 16K, something like that. So I can certainly see getting to them a little bit.
Yeah. It's just a good price, but pricing all the way around is soft. Like I'm getting some really, really good value grades for all my lines. It looks like Osmo is too. So just value in general is just through the roof. You got some super cheap defensemen like Sergachev and Rasmus Anderson who are going to get increased minutes and power play time and stuff with talented players. So maybe you don't need a ton of Devils one. I'm still getting to some because I still do like the Carlsons and the Petrangelos of the world and Pulock. So yeah, there's some top defensemen to pay up to, and Devils one allows me to get quite a bit of that.
Yeah, 12,004 B grade A value from Osmo, so got no problem with that one. I think it's not gonna be too popular too. I think a lot of people are gonna go, LA1 super cheap, my God. But I think a lot of people are going to go towards the Islanders tonight. I'm just guessing that they'll be popular. Maybe you can you correct me later, but I'm kind of thinking they'll be like the sort of most popular filler stack. It's either them or Tampa 1 maybe. But
yeah, I like that. And we'll get to that game in just a second because I like kind of both sides of that. But yeah, there will be ownership on both sides, I would think. You got anything else here before we move on? Any of these depth lines?
No, yeah, I like the Severson call. I think that's not bad. We're kind of looking for pivots off of Sergachev, right? Like, I think we don't like. There's some varying differences of opinion as to how much he'll be owned tonight. So, if he's really highly owned, then maybe it would make sense to go to someone like Severson, who is still a power play 1 quarterback. Still getting 25 minutes a game. Like that's basically a Sergachev clone, just on a much, much worse offense and in a worse offensive position. But, like some pivots like that can maybe make or break your lineup some nights when you kind of have like, there's probably a 60-40 chance that Sergachev outscores Severson and he'll be owned like 10 times that, right? So consider maybe switching off to these Shattenkirk and Severson types.
Yeah. Even if Severson's like 7% and Sergachev's 21%. Like, he's not 3 times as likely to outscore Severson here. I don't think so.
Yeah, so
I think
it's so hard to get off Sergachev tonight because he's in such a good spot and he played so many minutes and he's really talented defenseman offensively. But like logically, it probably makes a lot more sense to not take him.
Yeah, I like it. At least something to consider. I think if you're making a bunch of lineups. All right, let's go to the Maple Leafs and the Islanders. 2.9 implied total for the Leafs, 3.1 for the Isles. Frederik Andersen and Robin Lehner expected to go here. Any changes?
So just that Janssen is a game time decision. So I don't know. Do we have? Are they just leaving him in on those lines? We don't have. Won't know who's up on that second line. I'm guessing it would be no, you don't even have to guess. It'd be Kapanen taking his place, right?
It'll be Kapanen. Yep.
Yeah. So Kapanen would move up, and then I think probably Connor Brown would move up onto the third line. That's what we've seen previously. So probably a good edge here. This is another like revenge game off the like Tavares getting booed like crazy last time they came to Long Island. So should be another interesting game. I'm guessing the Islanders fans will give it to him. And then on the other side, I think Islanders 1 is just way too cheap. I don't know. That's the first line that caught my eye this morning. So I'm going to have some of them and kind of, unless we think that the ownership's going to be insane. But really cheap. And then I also saw your boy Ryan Pulock got some ice time on the power play last game for the first time in a while. So it's Devon Toews and Pulock had not much, but he was with the second unit. So that's a change from what we've seen all season long. I don't think he's gotten any power play time or very little.
Yeah.
Is that right? I think I'm not wrong there.
He's gotten second power play time, just not on the
Has he?
Play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
He's been on second power play basically all year. But
has he? Okay.
No, I mean that just lowers his ownership too. So that's why I like him kind of as a one-off. I do here as well.
He's another great price.
Yeah. And you like targeting defensemen against the Leafs. Basically, we've done it all season. So Janssen did skate on, or it was not at morning skate. Game time decision, him and Muzzin. They had Kapanen up on Matthews' line with Nylander. So I'm kind of hoping Janssen doesn't play because he's in the Fantasy Cruncher player pool, and I don't think a lot of people are going to react to that, or enough people. So even if one person misses that, like that's still an edge. They're getting the wrong combination. They're playing a guy with a 0. So what I'm doing is making a crunch with Kapanen on line 2, and then making a regular crunch with Janssen on line 2, just in case, so I don't have to panic when he's announced in or out and have to recrunch if I guess wrong. I would suggest you guys do the same, especially if you're playing multiple sports tonight that lock at 7 Eastern. But yeah, it looks like a pretty fun game all around for me. Like I really like Barzal, Lee, and Everly, just too cheap. And Anders Lee is one of the most underpriced guys tonight. I think he should be like 6K-ish at least here. The Leafs have done a good job bleeding chances and shots, and he's going to go up against probably both of the top 2 lines, which are super high event, especially the Matthews line, no matter who he's with. So I think it's just a really good matchup for Isles 1, and then kind of splitting exposure with Toronto 1 and Toronto 2. I think I like the line a little bit better, like I said, if Janssen is out and Kapanen slides up there for $300 less.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a huge leverage spot if you want to get that in your lineups. No one's going to have that right combo, right? That'll probably be less than like 2% owned. So how are these Islanders looking lately? Are they back to their old defensive ways, or are we seeing that same kind of regression from them? It looks like they've kind of been in the middle of the pack over the last.
So over the last 10, they've actually been.
They've been good again.
They've been pretty good, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Let me try to find.
So they are 5th in the NHL in scoring chances against over their past 7 games, I think.
Over the past 7, really? Let me see if I can find them.
Past 8 games.
Okay, they're middle of the pack in scoring chances against per 60 over the last 10. Let's see where they're at. Yeah, it looks like middle of the pack, actually. So
yeah,
they were like at the top,
but like
there
trending,
for a while.
Trending in the right direction defensively, right? Because
this is what I saw. They're 26th in scoring chances against, or high danger chances against per 60, 9.3 per 60 over the last 10. So they've tightened up. Like they've been allowing a lot of shots. They did for basically the whole season, but like they were just really low quality shots. And if you could do that against the Leafs, that's really, really important with all the talent they have offensively. So
yeah.
Interesting.
So this is not another let's go full EMAC here and talk about some goaltenders. This is an interesting spot. I kind of like pairing up the. Is it Grace tonight?
What's that? No, it's Leonard.
Leonard. So I kind of like pairing up Leonard in your Islanders stacks if we think the Islanders are going to be chalky, because Leonard's going to see some shots tonight. Mm-hmm. He's kind of got a chance at being one of these really high volume goaltenders that could put up a big number, and he's not going to be owned because people don't want to target the Leafs.
Yeah, I really like Leonard as a one-off goalie if you're doing that, or if you're stacking Islanders especially. That's just kind of cheap all around. He's going to see the shot volume, and hopefully it's not really high danger chances like what the Islanders had been doing for a while there. And then Freddie Anderson, just one of the best goalies in the NHL. He almost always sees shot volume on the road. Leafs play even higher event. So the Islanders don't generate a ton of high danger chances either. So outside of that top line, at least how I have them projected. So I think it's a pretty good spot for both goalies. I would correlate on both sides if you can, and I'm doing that quite a bit tonight.
Yeah, just going full goalie correlation.
I think it's viable. I'm thinking about just doing that for all my lineups.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm just looking up high danger chances for here over the last 10, because I thought that for some reason I thought that the Islanders were Isles 1 was killing it lately. Last time I checked, but
just like overall, let's see where they're at.
Yeah, just like individuals like Barzal and what have I got going on here? I don't know. Barzal and Lee, but I'll look that up and we can come back to it if you want.
Looks like just 8.9 high danger chances against per 64, 18.5 per 60. That's really, really awesome, actually. I did not realize the numbers were that good. They must have.
Was that Islanders 1?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, maybe that's what I'm looking at. Yeah.
That's really awesome. Okay.
Yeah, so they have the second best scoring chances for, or third best on this second best on the entire slate. They're actually ahead of like Vegas 1, or sorry, Vegas 2, which has been blowing people's minds forever in terms of scoring chances 4.60.
All right,
so that's another reason to get on them tonight, I think.
Yeah, I really love that. Okay, they're already, I think, the best value on the night for me, or second best value on the night. So I'm already gonna have a ton of them, but yeah, that makes me like them even more. Did not realize just how good their numbers were. Polak at 4,700, I really like as well. Defenseman against the Leafs, you can play Taves if you want. I think you could probably even play Letty if you really wanted to. But he's not on that top power play, so actually maybe you shouldn't be going there. And then Muzzin, just keep an eye on him.
Taves over Letty. I think they're pretty close to the same price, right?
34 to 3,600. Yeah, Taves cheaper, so that makes sense. I'm not really crazy about Morgan Riley, so.
No, I just think there are other better. Like, I'd rather even go down to Pietrangelo. I can always say his name wrong. Pietrangelo. For like $600 less. Like, just give me Pietrangelo.
I would do that as well. All right, Oh wait, Dermott. We had a question about Dermott. Where does he rank for you on the min price D punts?
I didn't have any, but I don't think I'm going to go down that low tonight. I just don't think there's a reason to go down that low.
No, because there's Rasmus Anderson for $300 more expensive. So
yeah, or like Oliver Kylington, I think, is another talented defenseman if you want a guy who's going to punt and probably see 20 minutes tonight, right. And probably some power play time as well.
Yeah, I agree. So I just don't see the need for it tonight with some of these other guys that we have. Which Toronto line would you prefer, assuming nothing changes from this AM skate? For me, that would be the Matthews line, but it's really, really close, regardless if it's capping in there.
Yeah, fair. You're going to get these Leafs at low ownership tonight, too, so maybe not a bad spot to get on them in GPPs, because I don't think no one wants to target the Islanders.
Where's the Tavares hat trick? Is that coming this game?
Maybe this is the revenge game, right? Like maybe he was so jacked up last time that game that they lost like 8-0. That
are the Isles in the playoffs?
Yeah,
they are.
They're clinched. I think. Let me just
99
double check.
points. Let's see.
They didn't cop as one of the ones I was looking at to like fake, so they might have some.
Yeah, it looks like they're pretty easily in. Yeah, they're in. Whether or not they've clinched.
Oh, that's what it is. They're battling to like not have to face Washington in the first round. Not that it really matters, but also for home ice advantage. Yeah, but home ice advantage over the Penguins too. That's important. So it's not like they're going to be mailing it in.
For sure. Okay, yeah, and the Leafs could technically miss the playoffs. So if you thought the Leafs, they could.
That's crazy.
They would have to lose their last 4, I think. But like,
I had no idea. I had no idea they were that bad.
Yeah, they've been bad lately. So they're going to obviously be trying really hard. Like, don't worry about them having to let up. But yeah, I did see that on Twitter this morning. Leafs Twitter is pretty funny sometimes. They're going to make the playoffs, but it's possible that they don't.
Boston, Toronto, round 1. That's going to be amazing.
Just like last season. Yeah, that was a hell of a series.
I don't care.
All right, let's do Lightning and Senators. 3.8 implied total for the Lightning, 2.8 for the Sens. Vasilevsky and Craig Anderson in net here. Vasilevsky likely not confirmed. Keep an eye on this. You'll know right around lock. What do we see different here, if anything?
We're getting that 3.8 from, just out of curiosity. I'm still seeing it at 4.2. I'm seeing no line movement.
Sometimes we get our lines, I think, from a little bit different spot than what you might see at other places. So
okay.
I don't know. Where do you have Ottawa
at? With Ottawa, let's see.
2.6.
2.4.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, so that is a little bit different. I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure why that would be.
Yeah, so maybe some new Lightning lines here. Gord up on the second line, Johnson down on the third line, JT Miller all the way down on the fourth line, and Matthew Joseph on the top line there. Hedman out. We already touched upon that. McDonough is really expensive though. DraftKings. I forgot to check his FanDuel price, but I'm curious as to whether or not that's going to keep people off of him, and people are just going to play Sergachev. In which case, maybe prioritizing McDonough, who got 30 minutes last game, is actually the play. I still think he'll be popular though, and it's kind of he's just too egregiously priced. And then on the other side of things, Bobby Ryan and Max Veronneau switch spots on their first and third lines, and I think that's pretty much it for changes.
All right. I like Tampa 2 here. And, Point, Kucherov, Johnson, I like that. I don't think Gord is going to make that big of a difference. Maybe it's an upgrade, but Tyler Johnson scored 30 goals this season. Is that right?
Probably a downgrade, but not much.
Yeah. I mean, people were talking about how bad he's been this season, or he's not the same. He scored 30 goals.
28 goals, but only 18 assists. So it's kind of weird, right? Like 46 points on a line with two guys that have.
That's because he doesn't play in the power play with those guys. That's why.
That's true.
It's just point to Kucherov to point to Stamkos, all that. Yeah.
But that's a huge discrepancy with Kucherov having 122 points.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Not often you see a guy as talented as Johnson with 70 less points than another guy, and they basically played together the entire season, right?
That seems like a little bit of bad luck, honestly. But
could be.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. Play Yanni Gord with Point Kucherov, or power play stack Tampa if you can somehow afford that. It's a little bit easier to afford with no Hedman on the top unit. You've got $4,100 Sergachev, who's obviously one of the best values of the entire night. Saw some people talking about Ottawa playing better at home. I mean, they definitely do. They have all season, even when they have kind of a real team with Stone and who else do they have? Duchesne, or I don't remember who was even on their team. We're probably going to see a hard match with the Pajot line against Point, Kucherov, and Yanni Gord. I don't know that does really anything for me. So for me, it's just play Tampa 2. Tampa 1 is also a really easy value to slot in there if you like them better than some of these other teams in the 15 or lines in the 15 to 16K range. I do not, so I'm not going to get to a lot of Tampa 1, but I understand if people want to go there. So where are you at here?
Yeah, no, I think you're right on that hard matching. The last time there were a couple games that where Ottawa wasn't hard matching, but I'm just looking here and they hard matched against the Tavares line last time out. So what are their numbers like? Is there a huge discrepancy? I feel like that line was a little bit better than the other Ottawa lines, but
Pajot with Smith and Ryan.
Yeah, but not like so much better. Like it's basically like a bad matchup to a very bad, a really good matchup to a very good matchup. You know what I mean?
It's going to be fine. I mean, they don't have much of a sample this season, but I know you're going to be okay playing them.
Yeah.
You got to think about their defensemen. They should dominate possession pretty well here.
Do you think there's some merit to fading Tampa Bay today, just with Hedman out, on the road, already clinched, not much to play for other than this wins record, just sort of maybe a letdown spot for them if we're going down narrative street, and if they're still going to get the ownership anyways, you could kind of make a case that this might not be the smash spot that we assume it is.
I don't know that I would intentionally fade them. I don't see anything wrong with the spot or anything, and I also don't see them being over 20% as a trio. At least, Yanni Gord's not going to be 20%. So for me, if Yanni Gord's 15% or even 12%, I think they're perfectly fine, even if Kucherov's 23 and Point's 21 or something like that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with playing them. I just don't think the ownership's going to be that high on an 8-game slate here. So,
you're frozen again.
Am I?
We're good.
Right.
We're good.
All right. You got anything else in this game? Playing any Ottawa here? We haven't really talked about them, but
no. I think I think Chabot getting the double A grade there, so I think he's probably not a bad play. He's not going to be owned, that's for sure. So just because Tampa doesn't give up a lot of points to defensemen, but he's getting his 23 to 26 minutes a game. I feel like he's a little bit underpriced from the other elite defensemen, so I could certainly see going to him here. Oh, and I'm just seeing that Chernak, do we know if he's in or not for the Lightning? I'm just going to look that up because
I didn't see anything about him earlier today, but we've got him on the screen.
So that's another case. So you got Strawman out, Girardi out. If he's out, I don't know. And then Hedman. That's 4 of your top 7 defensemen. So that's kind of where I was going with the whole should we maybe kind of be a little bit underweight on them tonight? I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, there's a ton of other really good spots, I think. I just think I'm gonna have the salary to use Tampa 2 as well. So it's not like they're super expensive, and there's no value, and you've got to pay up for some top defensemen. They're just not that much to pay up for, and they're honestly just not that expensive, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, got anything else here? Are we ready to move
Looks
on?
Sure, Nax a go there.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have much on Ottawa.
Good to go. Oh, sorry. I just want to get your thoughts on McDonough.
Oh, I think he's still a little bit overpriced, but now with no Hedman, obviously he's much more in play. Still on the second power play. It's not great for 5,800, and he's not a big like shot on goal kind of guy. He's not a big Corsi guy like Burns or Giordano. So I just have other guys that are cheaper than him, projected higher, and for that reason, not really getting to him unless you're forcing in a defenseman with your Tampa stacks. And I still think it would be Sergachev if you're doing that.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I think. That's kind of my reaction too. Like 5,800 is just like that's. I kind of think of him as like a grand cheaper than that, even with the uptick in minutes.
Yeah. But and he plays a lot of minutes, so if he goes from 22 to 25 or 26, like it's not that huge of a difference for me. So
yeah.
All right, Colorado and St. Louis, 2.4 implied total for the Avs, 3 for the Blues. The playoff St. Louis Blues, who just really turned it around this whole season after they fired Mike Yeo. Was that earlier this season they fired him?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They got off that terrible. They were like last in the NHL, and like there was like a 2-week period where we're like, wait a minute, like these numbers are not adding up, right? Like they're number one in the NHL in every category. Like what's going on here? And then they started to win. Yeah,
just win every time out. So we got Grubauer and Binnington in net here. Avs fighting for a spot, the last spot in the West. What do we see different here, if anything? I know the only thing I saw was that Rantanen is not ready yet.
Yeah, he's back on the ice, but he's not skating. So I'm guessing that means they'll probably try and...
All right. Are you guys getting Nolan cut out here? I can't tell. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, so we'll try to get Nolan back in just a second.
I don't know. You seen anything different there?
Oh, okay. There you are.
I didn't notice anything crazy.
You cut out there for a second.
Yeah, not seeing anything different for the Avs.
Okay.
Not sure when I'm cutting out, but
okay, all good.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Imagine being one of the guys that said St. Louis will tail off about 3 weeks ago when Shed and Tarasenko were hurt. Who was saying that? I wasn't saying that. And the Blues are good. All right, so I really love
Ryan O'Reilly. So
yeah, he's a stud. So speaking of O'Reilly, St. Louis won probably my favorite, maybe second favorite stack on the entire night as far as ownership exposure goes. I really don't care which line they go up against. They're just awesome at 5-on-5. Even if McKinnon was with Landeskog and whoever else, it wouldn't really matter for me. Great power play matchup as well for the Blues. Colorado's done a better job at not taking penalties, but I still think the Blues by far have the best line in this game, and I don't think they're going to be super heavily owned. So I'm all over St. Louis 1. That's no shock to anyone. I think you can play St. Louis 2 as well. Sundqvist, Schwartz, and Perron, they've had some success lately for sure. And then on the Avs side, it's really just the McKinnon line, but honestly, I don't really love it, and they're coming up just because of the value. But like when I look at the matchup, St. Louis is really tough in my eyes. So I don't really want to target a ton against the Blues here, and playing a lot of Pietrangelo as well.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Wasn't getting to any of them tonight. Yeah, so St. Louis won number 4 on the slate in high danger chances 4, and with any from lines with any kind of minutes associated with them, and then St. Louis 2. Really good scoring chance 4 numbers. Also, another team a line we didn't really mention too much. Florida. I just noticed Florida 2 has some really good numbers. If you want to get to them, just not to backtrack much. But yeah, they're third on the slate or something in scoring chances 4 since they've been put together. So kind of trending in that right direction.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm in with you on St. Louis. Definitely got some stacks, some St. Louis stacks, and like Binnington a lot too. I'm sure he grades out well for Osmo. He usually does.
Yep. AB.
Yeah. AB. So. Yeah, I'm in on the 4-man stack with Pietrangelo. Love that guy. He's super cheap. I don't understand why he's 54 and not 62. So sign me up for that as well.
Yep. Just love the Blues tonight. So That is a stand that I'm very comfortable making tonight against the Avs, who I think they're
Yeah.
going to choke it away.
It could be. I mean, like Rantanen's a pretty big loss, right? And it's not like that forward group is teeming with talent, but man, they are going to be like a force in a maybe even as little as a year, right? With possibly the top overall pick in this draft and Kyle McCarr coming up.
Who's
like,
that?
That's
Colorado?
Colorado, yeah, because they've got Ottawa's pick, right?
Oh, yeah. For Duchesne?
So, and they've still got their own, I think, too. So they've got like possibly two top 15 picks, and then
that's pretty good.
And the best defensive prospect this set of Quinn Hughes. So,
and the other thing with Colorado is if this game is close at all, third period you might see the blender come out for them. I've seen it lately.
Yeah.
Last game it looks like McKinnon, Kerfoot, and Comper stay together for the most part, but it's going to be McKinnon, it's going to be Landeskog, and whoever else. If this game
for whatever reason, like Colorado 1 has been rating out really well for Osmo, but I just haven't been playing them, and I can't say I've regretted it too much. So
yeah, it's so different without Landeskog and Rantanen with McKinnon. I mean, McKinnon's awesome, and there's cheap line mates, so there's merit, of course, to playing them. They're 14-1 as a stack, so like anytime you can get McKinnon for that price with full power play correlation is great, but the even strength matchup still sucks. The power play matchup is still not great. So I don't know. I'd rather go elsewhere, and I am going elsewhere. So let's go to Winnipeg and Chicago. We've got 3.3 implied total for the Jets, 3.2 for the Blackhawks. Connor Hellebuck and Corey Crawford in net here. Do we see any changes? I'm seeing a couple on the Hawks side.
Yeah, so just the Jets switched things up last time out right before the game. So it looks like they're going to go with Kyle Connor on that top line, and Ehlers again. No lineup changes for them tonight. I forgot to check, but I think Bufflin was on that top power play unit last game, right? So
I believe so.
He's really expensive, and like I don't think he's going to be. I don't know what his ownership will be actually, but I'm just not getting to him just because of that price point, pretty much. And then actually, I think daily faceoff. Do we have these lines? I just want to see if our lines are wrong here. So Perlini, I think, is out tonight.
No, Perlini's in. Sakura is out.
Oh, it's Perlini that's in, and Sakura's out, and Kampf is out as well, right?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, some kind of new lines there. DeBrincat on the third line with Anisimov and Kane. I don't think Osmo's grades are factoring that in. That's a little bit lower price. John Hayden draws in on the fourth line as well. And then I think everything else is kind of the same for them. So a little bit of juggling, a little bit of weird lines from the Blackhawks after they reunited that top line last time out, or last couple of games.
Winnipeg?
Well, they had like the Chicago had like DeBrincat, Kane, and Taves for maybe while you were gone,
Yeah, I think they did for a while. But I saw DeBrincat stayed with Anisimov and Kane last game, so that was kind of enough for me. And my numbers really, really like them as a stack. So I am really heavy on Chicago 3, quote unquote. DeBrincat, Anisimov, Kane. Like DeBrincat and Kane together, I think is just a match made in heaven. And then I still think you can play
Anisimov cheap.
Oh yeah, Anisimov just so cheap, so he can do some distributing there. I still think you can play the Tays line. I just hate playing Kajula, but they're pretty cheap as well. And then I just have Winnipeg, especially on the road, being a really good matchup, and it looks like Vegas agrees. Decent total for the Hawks, so I really like the Blackhawks side, and then I also like the Winnipeg side here. Scheifele, Connor, and Wheeler. Hard not to love them here just for the power play matchup alone, and it's not like they're going to be hurting for the 5-on-5 matchup. I know they don't have the St. Louis 1, Nashville 1, Carolina 1 numbers, but they still look awesome when they've got it going, and this is a perfect matchup for them to kind of get it going for the Jets, who have been struggling a little bit lately.
Yeah, I misspoke there. Chicago 3 is we do have the right line combos here, so it's a double A grade from Osmo. That's a great play tonight, I think. I don't think it's going to be very highly owned compared to some of these other more popular plays. I don't know. Kane always gets his share of ownership, so maybe I'm there. But I like that call. Winnipeg is interesting too. Like they have the bad home road splits, but still an amazing line.
Chicago still has really bad numbers at home, so.
Some of the worst numbers, maybe the worst numbers in the NHL, worst PK in the NHL. So, don't mind that call either. So, and then I also like the price point on Winnipeg too is just a little too cheap for me. I don't know, like maybe I'm wrong there. Hayes is priced up. Ehlers though is nice. So, I actually got a couple Winnipeg 2 teams just because I like the talent on that line, but in line A with the AA grade. So yeah, I'm on board. I'm gonna as soon as we're done here, I'm gonna make sure I've got enough Chicago 3 stacks there. I think that's a smart play.
Yeah, this is my favorite game as like a potential to score like to have like 12 goals in the game. Like I think
great point.
I think if one or both of these goalies isn't perfect tonight, like you could see a real crooked number here on either side. Yeah, I just love this game all around. Gustafsson, I think, is a little bit overpriced, but he's played much better lately and shooting a little bit more. And then I do like Bufflin for 6,100. I think that's a fine price in this matchup just for the power play. And him being back on that top unit makes such a big difference compared to like a Trouba or Morrissey or whoever they've mixed in there without him. So I'm all over Winnipeg 1, Chicago 3, the Kane line. And I'm going to have some shares as well of Chicago 1 and Winnipeg 2 here. I think there's just a lot of paths to success for multiple lines and multiple defensemen here.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you going to get to some Bufflin as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot
nice.
of Bufflin.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's good to know. I was just not getting to him. I just found him to be a little bit pricey, but I'll trust your expertise there.
Yeah, I really like him. All right, let's go Oilers and Golden Knights. We've got a 2.7 implied total for Edmonton, 3.8 for the Knights. Mikko Koskinen and Malcolm Subban expected to go. What do we see here newsworthy?
Just one note on that, Bufflin. The Jets didn't have a power play last game, I don't think. So Daily Faceoff, for some reason, has him listed on the top unit. The only thing that I can see from the beat writers is that he's on the second power play unit. But maybe that's
really?
wrong. I don't know if that's entirely true. The last tweets I see, that was from the last game. So I don't know. I mean, I'll look into it. Maybe just check my line change article in like a half hour after we end the show. I'll look into it and see if I can find anything else. But it might be true up on that top power play unit.
Okay, that would suck. That would definitely change my tune on Bufflin. But
yeah, okay. Well, if you're a premium member, I'll look that up and check the Slack chat, and we'll see if we can get to the bottom of it. Awesome. Sorry, yeah, we're on to the next game here. So big news here is that Stastny's probably a game-time decision. I would guess he's not going to play. I don't know why they would play him, given that they don't have anything to play for. Eakin, is it Eakin on the second line?
No, well, it could be Eakin. That is not. No, I'm sorry, it could not be Eakin. If it's not Stastny, it's going to be Tomas Nosek. He skated. Yeah. They had a full skate this morning without Stastny, and he's a game-time decision. So, Don't play Eakin with those two. Like, yes, it could happen, but don't do that. It's going to be Nosek or Stastny. So
yeah, okay.
Unless the skates were just completely off and the beats were off or something, I just don't think it's very likely that we see Eakin with them. So if it is Stastny or if it is Nosek, that's really frustrating because he's a way different price than Stastny. And this game's late, so you don't have a ton of late swap options. And Nosek is a winger as well, so you have even less options on DK.
Great points.
So what I'm doing is just kind of playing Stastny with Pacioretty and Stone, and I'll just adjust. If I need to adjust, I will go to Kopitar. If I need to go and just global swap, or I'll play around and leave guys off. Maybe leave some defensemen in the later games like Theodore and play around with that and just go 2 mini stacks or something like that. But I want – go ahead.
No, sorry, go ahead. Finish off.
I really want Pacioretty and Stone tonight. I think Vegas 1 is obviously a really awesome play as well. But
I think another way to do it too would just be to you could put Vegas 1 in and switch off Vegas 1. And then you could always add a defenseman like Rasmus Anderson, and then with the $2,000 extra or whatever you get, you could upgrade to someone I don't know. I haven't done the pricing, but you could upgrade it to Doughty or something like that. So there's definitely some ways to approach this, or just pop Stastny in. Yeah, like you said, pop Stastny in.
You could just go. Yeah, you could just swap up to Carlson with the extra $2,000 or $200 or whatever. So there's ways to go, but a little bit frustrating that if Sassy can't go, it's going to be a winger. So.
Yeah, this is another game I'm a little bit wary of just because Vegas doesn't have anything to play for. So, but Edmonton's so bad that I think you kind of just have to take it out of the equation a little bit. I'm gonna have some Vegas here for sure. I just can't get off them in this matchup. And I think maybe Vegas one's a little under the radar. I don't know. What do you think they'll come in at?
Vegas one. I just think they've had so much success lately. Like they've broken the slate like 3 or 4 times the last like 2 weeks, and people like to ride this team while they're hot, and they project out really well for a lot of different projection systems. Mine not so much here at this price. They're almost 18K, and I've got them right around like both of the Toronto lines, and well below some of these top tier lines like St. Louis one. So maybe I'm off on that, but if I'm going heavy on a Vegas line, I'm hoping Stastny plays. And you might be right about him not playing, but why would they even call him a game time decision if they thought it was even close? So I think there's a pretty good chance he plays tonight. Like,
damn. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a smart move then. If you think he's going to play, then I say load him up, and like you're going to have the nuts line combo, right? Like that line is amazing together. If he ends up playing, no one's going to have it. Yeah. So why not? Why not try and like put it in some lineups, and then just make sure you're around your lineups and switch it out. Like that's, as long as you can be on top of it, that's the smart way to go.
Right. And I'll be on top of it. I don't have a life, so no bachelor tonight either. So
what else are you going to do?
Yeah. I mean, it's just all me sitting on my laptop watching games, baseball, hockey, and just being a disgusting human being. Anything on the Edmonton side? You like McDavid and Draisaitl?
No, I'm getting to 0 Edmonton.
I actually am getting to a little bit of them, and I think it's just because they account for so much of the offense, and it's not a lot. It's like 5%, but I thought I would get 0. So
that's fair. Contrarian play, less than 5% ownership tonight. I think pretty much guaranteed, even for such an elite player. Like you never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah, and we've seen some Vegas shootouts at home, and I don't know.
And Subban hasn't been sharp, so
right.
That's a smart sneaky play. I haven't gotten to them because I only have 20 lineups, but if you have more than that, I think it's pretty good. Or just one.
Theodore also. I absolutely love Theodore. I've just been hammering him lately, and he's 5K. There's going to be shots to go around here, and he's been super, super aggressive. Scored a goal last game as well. Like, just got a really good shot, and he's all of a sudden decided to use it. And his price hasn't really reflected that. So I love this 5K tier, and he's a big reason why.
Colin Miller?
I'd rather not.
Down.
Yeah.
He was good there for a while.
He's okay. He's okay if he's actually going to be on the top power play with Carlson, Marchessault, and Smith. So,
do we have to get you out of here? You got a baseball show? You got one more?
I got one at 6 Eastern. So
okay,
we got a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Live before lock, 6 Eastern. Myself and Josh Engelman. So it'll be.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we haven't talked on a show forever, so it'll be the return. Nice little return. Josh said it feels like we were dating and we broke up. So we'll rekindle tonight.
Kindle your romance.
All right, last game. We've got the Flames and the Kings. Kind of a weird one here. I think this total's wrong. I think it's like 2.8 or 2.9 implied total for the Flames, around the same for the Kings. Rittich and Quick expected to go here. Could be Campbell, someone said. Obviously, check.
I thought it was Quick. I saw Quick was the first.
Was
he? Yeah.
Okay, then put in Quick because he's the more expensive one, and you're not going to have a ton of options to swap to. All right. Anything that you like here, or do you want to talk about the changes? Kind of summarize what Calgary's doing.
So we have basically 2/3 of Calgary's top second line is out. Backlund, Kachuk, and then their top 3 defensemen. Who's it? Hannafin, Brody, Giordano. Is that all 3? Am I missing someone?
Hamonic.
There's one.
4. Top 4.
Top 4. Oh, Hamonic, right. So top 4 defensemen for Calgary. I am going to have a fair amount of LA tonight because I never learned my lesson. So that's where I'm at. Going to be loading up on LA1 because it's cheap, and just kind of hoping that they can take advantage of the AHL defense core that Calgary's putting on offer. Maybe that Calgary was up a little late last night, having a few brewskis, celebrating their Western Conference title. I think if it were me, that's what I would be doing. I wouldn't be too happy to be playing this game right now. I would probably not be putting forth my top effort. So I'm going to go down narrative street tonight, ignore the numbers, and load up on LA1 correlated with Quick, and just hope that Calgary decides not to show up.
Maybe they're going out tonight in LA, regardless of the outcome.
Where were they? They were in Anaheim last night?
Well, they had to travel.
No, San Jose.
Right? So they had to travel a little bit. Still within California, but Maybe they're going out tonight. Maybe they are pretty fresh. Just let's
Back
get
to
this one out of the
backs.
way. And
They're thinking about they're thinking about the LA club scene.
that's what I'm
They're thinking
saying.
about
So they're going out tonight.
Jennifer Lawrence
Yeah.
tonight. Their mind's not on this game. I'm telling you.
Yeah. They're going out with
I
all.
already logged into my betting account and bet everything on LA tonight. So, like, it works out. It never works out,
Yeah.
but this is the night.
All the Instagram models tonight after this game
Right?
for
Yeah.
Calgary.
Paulina Gretzky's probably in town. Like, some shit's going down. So,
For sure. So the only, I would like the idea of playing a bunch of Kings here. First of all, I think they're going to be somewhat owned just because of their pricing.
Yeah.
Kopitar and Brown are going to grade out as decent values to see in Osmo's projections. They do, which is understandable. They're still going to have a tough matchup, though, against Monahan, Gaudreau, and Lindholm. Even if they're playing at 80%. That's still not a super favorable matchup. And
that's the only thing that scares me. So we're looking at a full hard match here, right? Like, there's no reason why it wouldn't be, right?
It's
so are you going to get to the?
Yeah. Full
sorry to interrupt you, but does that make your King's depth? Are you going to be trying to get to this Grunstrom line, that Toffoli line that's been kind of decent?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take a couple stabs at the Kempe line, Kempe, Grunstrom, and Toffoli. Values on all those guys for Osmo as well. And I have
as a
similar.
stack. But I also think one thing to take note of is that's a harder matchup, but also one of the reasons Calgary One's numbers are so good is because they play 15 minutes a game with Giordano, right? And that's going to boost Edmonton's numbers. So they're going to get a downgrade no matter what, just because they're playing with such a weak defense decor. So just take that into consideration tonight.
No, that's a good point. Yeah,
bringing it in.
That is definitely a good point. So I don't think LA is a bad play by any means. They're obviously a much better play than what they were 2 hours ago. And the Vegas lines will reflect that. Like I said earlier in the show, I think that, yes, Grubauer is in net, Jeff. I think that I wouldn't have a problem playing Calgary 1 here. I just don't really see the need. There's a bunch of other lines around them, like Florida 1, that I really, really love, and St. Louis 1. So I'm not really getting to them much. I understand if you want to play them at low ownership. They're still really awesome players, that top line, and then you've got Rasmus Anderson for 2,800, which is just a really good bargain. So gonna play get a boost in minutes, top pairing, probably gonna play a bunch with Calgary 1, top power play. Kings suck on the penalty kill. So there you go. And then Alec Martinez on the other side, I actually like, along with Downey.
Yeah, he's graded out really well for Osmo for sure. So got no problem with that grade as well.
Yes, sir.
3,500. Yeah.
All right, just getting on to watch the show. What are your top stacks? Nihas, come on, man. I told you when the show was. All right, you want to go through
also,
a couple...
we haven't talked about the Oscar Fentonberg revenge narrative.
Oh, God. Yeah, don't think you need to play Fantenberg, although he was shooting pretty heavily when he was playing for the Kings his last few games. Maybe they were trying to showcase him. But he's 2,500, so there you have it. Who are your top stacks? Then I'll kind of go over mine and we'll close it out.
Top stacks tonight. Let me pull up the sheet here. So Florida 1 is going to be one of mine. St. Louis 1. I think we're kind of in line tonight. Chicago. You talked me into Chicago 3. I think that's really smart. And then I'm just going to use kind of LA 1 and Islanders 1 as my main filler stacks. Just because of their spots. I hope they will kind of maybe fly under the radar, but. I'm willing to eat the ownership if they don't, and that's about it. I'm gonna probably gonna play the dangerous game of going underweight on Tampa 2, and hope that they're the fact that they don't have anything to play for really means they don't come out firing.
All right. For me, Nihas, listen up. Chicago 3, St. Louis 1, Florida 1, Vegas 2 with Stastny.
Nice.
If you're willing to late swap,
That's
and then I like both sides of that. What is it? Islanders Leafs game. I think that is a potential shootout.
And the Jets game too. You said, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Winnipeg won.
Jets Blackhawks.
Winnipeg won for sure.
I think Winnipeg Chicago is if you're going to game stack, maybe that or Washington Florida.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really even talk about Washington 1 there, to be honest. But
I mentioned them off the top.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I think you have to consider them based on how bad Florida's numbers are if we're expecting Florida 1's numbers are if we're expecting a hard match there.
Another shootout possibility.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, that's probably good for today. We're a little
absolutely.
bit long, but it was good to be back. Good talking to you, and hopefully we can take down some tournaments before we get into the playoffs here. What do you say?
Let's do it. I'm going to win this 10 Gs tonight, so you can have tomorrow night's
All
GPP.
right. I'll take second, third, and fourth tonight, and maybe the viewers can take the rest of the top 10. Good luck tonight, guys. Tune in to MLB Live Before Lock at 6 Eastern, myself and Josh Engelman, and we'll take you up to lock. Both sports, you'll probably see me trying to jam in some NHL crunches at the last second, so it'll be great trying to multitask. Good luck tonight, guys.